But you must know that the depths have not actually been plumbed. Stop where it is convenient and comfortable for you and where you find assurance, but you haven't even begun to plumb the depths. You see, those fears and those horrors of 400,000 years, you name it, have entered into our bone and body and blood. And we can know about them. They're part of us. And we have to see it. We have to feel it. We have to appreciate it. And so I go to another poet. That's why I put poetry in the title of this series. I don't know anybody who's done it as beautifully as this man, Nikos Kazantzakis. In his book, The Odyssey, and elsewhere, he says it over and over again in such beautiful ways. Listen to these lines. But the complex mind gazed on the new gods in silence and thought how beasts were merged and grafted with man's heart, how they had filled his belly, coiled about his loins, and how that panting mongrel breed had turned to gods. At times the beast's head smothers the dark soul of man. At times man's reverent head springs from the beast's body and fights for its salvation, filled with light and tenderness. The archer's soul throbbed, for its dim divinings here had stood in stone 1,000 years, hacked in the sun. Thus had these two great foes within him, beast and God, fought fiercely in his bosom, head and loins, until high in his mind they turned to friends from so much strife. And forefather beast thus met with grandson God within him. May you be blessed, entangled ghosts, for now I know who cried within me and what my ultimate destination. Beast and man, 400,000 years, 1,000,000 years. Let it be very clear to us that our logical brain is the latest and last development, not the earliest, of course, the latest, the last, the logical mind. The rest of that brain was there for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. And brains store up and transmit and hand on. Our history is there in here, unknown to most of us, but not unfelt and not unimportant, not uninfluential and not unreal. Tremendous, powerful, and it expresses itself in what we want to have termed the instincts, the thing that moves in animals to teach them, and to move them to preserve themselves, and they don't know how it comes, and they don't know what they do and why they do it, but this brain and body are hand on this knowledge and wisdom. And that knowledge and wisdom is there in us. We have lost it, overlaid it, and hidden from it. And now mostly we hide from it. But it is there. It is there for our utilization. If we have the courage to face it, and we know that we have the skills and capacities to discover it, if we have the courage to face it. This unknown past is revealed to us in many ways. It's revealed to us in symbols, which Erich Fromm calls are necessary to get that wisdom, and I don't know what term to use for it, that wisdom, that knowledge, that awareness, all in quotes, to get that past our censor, because we don't want to know it. We're afraid of it. It's too devastating. Even for most of us here in this congregation this morning, we will not face it. Not I. And very few of you, very few anywhere. That's the significance of dreams. They come to us in symbols so that we can think about them without facing them. And we know now enough about dreams, even though they really have just become scientifically observable in the past few years. Scientifically observable. What am I saying? Ancient people knew that there was a wisdom in dreams. And you find them interpreted and analyzed and stated in the Bible. There are primitive groups that make a custom every day of analyzing their dreams. They knew that things came to them in dreams. Where'd they come from? That conscious mind? No, the conscious mind is unaware of them. And some of us, like myself, who can't stand to face them perhaps, can't even remember our dreams in the morning. And if they start to intrude, we slip them by, even though they've come to us in the lovely language of poetry and myth and fairy tale. Same kind of symbols. But we can take those symbols and just laugh at them and chuckle about them and talk about them, never understand them. How the mind works to cover up and to hide. But you can learn to understand your dreams. They're one of the ways in which you can reach back into that past, into that personal past of yours, or into that deep, deep racial past of all of us. Dreams are only one way. Psychoanalysis is another. We know that psychoanalytically you can take some people back into the womb, certainly back to the earliest days. Not I. Can't take me back. Could, perhaps, if I'd expose myself. I don't know what happened then. Neither do most of you, but it's there in you. And through your dreams or through psychoanalysis, you can have it revealed. A past that moves you, drives you, controls you, and we don't even know about it. But the access is there. And even if you don't want to know about it, can't stand it, you'd better understand that it's there. Or mandalas, you know the mandala forms. You see them in exotic books now and then. The various forms and symbols and structures that people just draw unconsciously or consciously. And those mandalas, those symbols are familiar the whole wide world over. I'm talking now about a universal language, the language of symbol, the symbolic language that hides from the conscious mind the things that it really knows.